Hey guys, Sean, Leslie Liver Dummies. Previous testing with my HDR50 in this configuration has proved to be inconsistent in my velocity. Watching other YouTube videos, mine behaves differently, not as consistent. So, trying to get to the bottom of it, I have two new bolt springs to try. One is the factory length, but 1 gauge thicker, and one is the same gauge as the factory bolt spring, but 10 millimeters longer. So I'm gonna try both of them. But quick refresher, hoping that I can demonstrate what my HDR50 is doing. 775 output, 12.7 millimeter ball bearings. These are 8.4 grams. And not aiming for power in this test, just want to show FPS. And this bottle has 2300 psi in it. It's a 26 CI, so there's a lot more volume in it. So my shot count should be fairly consistent. I mean, within 10 to 20 FPS, even that I think is bad. But I mean, my M17 shoots like within like 3 FPS. So can we do 3? Probably not, but that's what we're gonna try to figure out today. So first shot. .334. 348. 338. There's one. 304. These are precision ball bearings, so they, as far as I can tell, they're all identical in size. 348. 338. Oddly enough, there's a lot of duplicate numbers in there, but the FPS did fluctuate more than I see on other markers. I did have the one weird flyer, 304. I'm going to use the same balls again. I would like to actually try and figure out which 304 ball that is and inspect it. Maybe that's the difference. But in any case, we are going to swap to the factory gauge bolt spring, 10 millimeters longer first. 1.4 millimeter by 70 millimeter with a 15 millimeter OD. So this is a factory bolt spring. It's 1.4 by 60 by 15. And this is the by 70. So for all intents and purposes, it's 10 millimeters longer, but it's the same wire gauge, so that's the thickness of the wire. So I'll put it in there, see what it does. Well, it fits. It's a bastard to get in there, but we'll see. I do expect I'm probably going to take a cut in FPS because it's going to limit bolt travel, but I'm aiming for consistency here. This thing, these Umarex pistols with steel ball bearings are deadly as it is. All right, guys, all back together. Once again, this is not a power test. This is searching for consistency. This is a 1.4 millimeter spring, wire gauge spring, which is the same as a factory spring, but it is 10 millimeters longer. I am expecting, as I mentioned, maybe a drop in FPS because that extra length actually limits the bolt travel, which also limits the time your firing pin is open. But what I want to see is better, more consistent numbers. Did I say that already? Yeah, I did. Same rounds, 12.7 millimeters. I dug out of the trap. Here we go. Oh, and obviously, well, I didn't put all the accessories back on, but same barrel. Less stuff to take apart after. Well, since that first spring didn't work, here is the second spring. 1.5 millimeter wire gauge, 60 millimeter length, 15 millimeter OD. Now this spring actually was recommended to me by Jeff, so we'll see how it does. This again is a factory bolt spring. And here is the new 1.5. So this one is one wire gauge larger. And here was the one I just took out that sputtered. It's funny, eh? Not much difference. I mean, not anything that detectable besides the length, but it makes all the difference. So I will load this guy up and we'll see where it goes. Okay, I'm not making that same mistake twice and reassembling the whole marker. So we have the skeleton assembled, just a quick test fire. All right, now I'll put the body screws in. I hope I didn't jinx myself putting it all back together. Tentatively, the 1.5 millimeter by 60 mil by 15 mil outside diameter functioned in the skeleton test. So here we go for the reals this time. Same ball bearings. On the stock bolt in this setup, I saw a high of 348, 338, 348, 338, and a low of 304. I think there's another number mixed in there somewhere, but let's see what it does. Oh, ugh, that's ugly. Better. Ugly. 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 Meh. Well, it sounds powerful, but it is not shooting powerful. Now, as I mentioned, I was expecting to take a cut in FPS, but not that much. Gosh darn it, that spring is just too limiting. Too limiting. Back to the drawing board. Well, you know that saying, did you try unplugging it? Back to the factory setup. Try one more time. Where are you trying to? 296. Where are you 22? 292. 294. 298. All right, well, I mean, it's still inconsistent, but more consistent? Just because somebody's gonna say, well, it's probably those 12.7 millimeter ball bearings are shooting, so 12.5 millimeter. And I still got 2,000 PSI left in this tank. Not for power, remember, consistency. 330. 338. 318. There was a drop. 316. 334. 334. That was the last one. Man, it's tough to say. I mean, if I did the math, maybe those 12.5 millimeter on the surface, they seemed more consistent, and I'm just guessing, but I don't think so. I mean, I feel like this marker should be better than that. I've seen better. The only thing left I can try is just take the extension off and just run it like this, but I'm gonna do the 12.7s again quickly. Is it the extension that's doing it? $300. These are 12.7s. $286. Ooh, $256. Bottle pressure is above 1,000. I like 1,200. $284. $256. $256. I'm gonna say no, it's not the extension. The 12.5s proved a little bit better. What can I say, guys? You win some, you lose some. I mean, maybe I'm being too picky, but I'm gonna keep trying stuff till I get to the bottom of this. And, it may also answer that farting question with the CO2. I don't know. Bonus footage on a Fence 24 destroyers, 50 caliber, 2.8 grams. Is it projectile shape related? Are balls creating this issue unintentionally? $558. $560. $556. $548. $548. One more. $542. Those probably had the best consistency. Maybe it's weight related. Those are really lightweight. We'll have to see. What is the bottom line here, guys? Factory bolt spring for me is the best. I've tested a lot of bolt springs, and previously I was always going lighter, trying to get more power. And in this case, I was going for consistency, and instead what I found was way less power, and no power at all when that one spring stuttered. The most successful test here was these Home Defense 24 destroyer rounds. They're shaped, they're lighter, and they were the most consistent out of any of those balls. I only tested 2 steel ball bearings there, the 8 grams and the 8.4 grams. I have lots of other ammunition here, but obviously this could go on and on and on, but I am still waiting for springs for my Glock. So I think in the meantime, I'm gonna bust out my HDP50. It's set up with a tuning run as well, and test for the same inconsistencies I see with the HDR. Now, I've always thought the HDR, it's because of the drum here, and we're getting blow by. Not all the air is making it down the barrel. Could it be maybe this barrel return spring isn't heavy enough, and I'm actually, that inconsistency is the barrel, I don't know, blowing off prematurely before the round is actually making its way through, so too much air is escaping here. Again, that's gonna have to be for another test, but in the meantime, the bolt springs didn't work. Stick with your factory spring. Works great, for me anyways. See ya.